So we've got Dream Life Beats here. Everybody give a round of applause to him. We got Brianna Marin. We got Cash Money AP. DJ Payne 1, of course. Kato on the track. And my man DG Beats. So I'm going to let each one of these guys introduce themselves individually and kind of tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we'll get into some real questions, and then we'll have some Q&A. I will save some time for Q&A at the end. So Dream Life, go ahead and.
Yo, how you guys doing? I'm a bit nervous, so my voice is like, I'm not used to public speaking. As I just introduced, I've been making beats since I was like 12 or 13 years old in the UK. First started selling beats online actually with Rock Battle, like when I was a kid, like way back in the day. And that didn't really go very well. So, you know, like everyone else, I got a full-time job. And then kind of a couple of years ago, just I woke up one day and I was like, man, I can't do this shit anymore. At the time I was like, I've got to figure out how to make beats and sell them. So I just started researching BeatStars and it's sort of picked up from there. Got a couple of placements on the way. Kevin Gates, not the only one. Got a track with Wale. Got a track with on Snoop Dogg's last album. Kodak Black, Candy Paint. So it's been pretty good so far. So yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Brianna Marin. I'm a singer-songwriter. I started out writing for other artists. Abe found me singing songs online after I got sick of writing for other artists and chasing placements. I would say my income grew substantially once I started writing hooks on all of these guys' tracks. And I think I'm definitely the most featured artist on iTunes at this point. But yeah, that's all I got to say today, so. Oh, he got his own mic.
Check. Yeah, better. Young Thug, Migos, Designer.
Let's do that over.
I made a beat. I had a chance to make a beat with Kanye West, and yeah, but I never heard it. And yeah, that's about it.
Check. What's going down? My name is DJ Payne 1. I love Atlanta because if it weren't for Atlanta, I wouldn't be here. My first major placement when I was at a crossroads in my life as to whether or not I wanted to pursue music or just become a full-time high school English teacher, which is a very demanding position. But my first placement was with Young Jeezy. So if he hadn't taken a chance on me, I wouldn't even have a music career or a brand. That was my first major placement. That was my first step into the world of being a career producer. Since then, and I kick myself every day for not seeing the writing on the wall and joining the online beat licensing marketplace sooner. But honestly, since the last A3C is when online beat licensing has become a substantial portion of my income, and then also a substantial portion of my energy every day. But that's something that has changed my life, just seeing the information and hearing the information, learning from people like Dream Life, Cash Money AP, DG, especially when it comes to mailing lists. That helped a lot, thank you. And so hopefully all of you have similar experiences throughout this conference.
Check. What up, y'all? Everyone doing good? My name's Kato on the track. I'm a producer, entrepreneur, co-founder of Music Entrepreneur Club. First of all, shout out to Abe, shout out to A3C and BeatStars for hosting this. I started out just making beats like most of y'all. I was just a kid in college, started making beats. And from there, it just kind of progressed. I moved to Atlanta, met an artist named Jaron Benton, and we started making music together. And within a couple years, we ended up signing to an independent label called Funk Volume, which was based out of LA. It was like Hobson, Dizzy Wright, Jaron Benton, Swizz, a bunch of other people. It's a really dope crew. And I had an opportunity to just soak in that experience and learn a lot from it. And then I was introduced to BeatStars and Abe, and that's when I started entering the online marketplace. And it's just been a learning experience from there. So looking forward to hopefully dropping some gems.
What's good, y'all? DG used to be known as DG Beats, but I go by my name now, Dylan Graham. I've been producing for, I think, almost 10 years now. Started out playing in bands, played guitar for maybe 4 or 5 years. And then I started producing back in, I think, 2008. So back in the day, started out, actually knew the Crates, they were here last year, but those guys were like probably one of my biggest inspirations starting out. Back like YouTube days of beat making videos and all that. It's kind of coming back now, but back in the day, that was kind of the thing. Dope Boys music too. Those definitely been some of my big inspirations starting out. Then I started selling beats, I think 2010. So I kind of got an early jump on YouTube. Like he was saying, a lot of it's email marketing for me too. So yeah, I'm from Toronto and moved out here 2.5 years ago. Kind of had the worst experience, like going broke. Had to move back into my parents' basement. And then joined, I think I was on Airbit initially. And then Abe hit me up about 1.5 years ago, switched over there. And it's been crazy, man. Just the fact that I can, sit in my pajamas and make beats and make a good ass living. It's been dope. So, yeah.
Thanks, guys. So since we are in the ATL, we got to start out by grilling Kato with some questions. So, well, first of all, I want to show of hands. How many of you guys encountered pushback from your parents regarding this career path that you guys are in now? Okay. Some of your parents didn't really give a fuck about you guys, it looks like, but some of your parents did. And so I think, when you humanize things on a life level of like career path, educational path, Kato, you went to school, but you didn't really use what you used in school to do what you're doing, maybe a little bit on the business side. I want to know, share with us why you didn't go the traditional career route for yourself, and didn't please your parents in that way. And what kind of pushback did you actually receive? And what made you just say fuck it?
Well, first of all, so obviously I'm Asian. Having Asian parents going into the music industry is a no-no. Like, that is the worst possible career path you could choose. So of course I experienced pushback from my parents. Like, it was tough, man. Trying to make them happy and make yourself happy at the same time is a big challenge. And yeah, I tried to do the college route. I went to Georgia State here for 2 years, so I'm very familiar with this whole area. I used to walk around campus just wondering what I wanted to do with my life. But the short answer is just I didn't care about anything as much as music, and I'm a big believer in just pursuing things that you're passionate about. So I think I finally hit that point where I was just like wondering what the rest of my life would be if I didn't try to pursue music, and I'm glad, the best decision I ever made for my life. So for anyone out there that, has that pressure from your parents, your family, but you love music, I would highly, highly suggest to all of you to just pursue your passion. Like, put your passion first, the money and everything. If you're passionate about what you do and you love it and you do it for the craft, then the money and all of that will follow eventually, you know. But you gotta stick with it, and it's really a patience game, you know.
So how did you kind of fight back that daily noise at home? You know, that daily noise, like for years, right? I mean, it didn't happen overnight for you to call yourself like a full-time music business entity, that you're paying your taxes, you're earning a living, and all these kind of things. It didn't happen overnight, right? So for all those years, how did you face that, and how did you overcome it?
You know what? When you're super passionate about something, first of all, I'm over 10 years in, so you know I've been doing this for a long time, and I wasn't getting paid for those first maybe 6-7 years. I was broke. Like, believe me when I tell you I was broke for all of those years. So it was really tough. But I think when you really, really love something, you just kind of have to put the blinders on and kind of drown out any outside noise and influence and just believe in the process. You have to believe in what you're doing, and you have to believe that at the end you will reach the goals that you're trying to reach, you know? So, yeah, I think it was just drowning out the noise and trying to stay positive.
Thanks, Kato. All right, we're gonna jump around a couple questions each guy and girl. And Cash Money, you know, your story like just blows my mind. You know, you're from this small island in the Caribbean, and you know the chances for you to like develop your craft, develop yourself, and become an entrepreneur, become a businessman, it's not very likely from this place. And so something must have happened to you in your life that, or some sort of mentor or inspiration or someone in your life that you must have saw as an example in entrepreneurship. What moment was that when you're sitting at home in this little island with just a couple thousand people on this island? Like what made you want to become an entrepreneur?
I always been amazed by the United States, because you know the island is in the Caribbean, so we closer to like America than France. So the main channel I was watching was like BT, like all the, you know, and I started like watching like tutorials on YouTube, and I discovered Lex Luger. I know pretty much you like know about Lex Luger, and I was like, I can do it too. I just have to put in work. Then I started doing it. While I was in school, like I was going back from school, like doing my homework, and then I was like getting straight on my computer and then like making music. Then one day I was like, I should just like drop my music on YouTube. Then it happened, and then I was like consistently like dropping music. Like I try to like drop music like every week at first. Then now I do it like almost every day, still. And yeah, my work like paid off.
So you weren't one of those kids that was after school going to baseball or basketball or sports. You were more focused on developing your music craft.
Actually, I used to do soccer a lot. Yeah, I was really good at soccer, but I had to stop. So yeah, I say music over soccer.
I mean, having a passion though for making music still does not equate to being a successful, you know, business person. You can be, I mean, every single day we hear on BeatStars some of the most amazing music from some undiscovered producers all the time, literally every day. But their business habits, their business ethics are just not there to like sustain a business for themselves. So was there any other model for business that you were like, okay, this is something I could do online? This is like this. Was there someone that you were like inspired by at home or on the internet? Were like, man, this person's actually making money, selling their beats, like that made you decide to jump in?
To be honest, I was like super lazy about looking at the stuff. I was just like, I'm just going to drop music. Just drop music, and then you actually the person that like showed me like the business a little bit, like how to like get like links from the website, like do all the stuff. Like I wasn't doing that. I was just like focused on the music, cause you know, French, English, and then when I see like 10 lines, like reading like 10 lines for me was like, nah, I can't. If it's 2 lines, like, okay, it's cool. So, you know, I was just like dropping music, and then once I got like better with the language, I started like focusing on that stuff too.
That's cool. That's cool. So it is possible that great music will surface, especially on platforms like YouTube, and you sometimes will be forced into becoming an entrepreneur and trying to figure it out, even though that's not the first motive that you currently went with. So each person's journey is different. So I'm trying to pull information out of him, like who showed him to be an entrepreneur, but it just there wasn't anything there, and it just he had to figure it out. That's that's amazing. That means the talent and the content speaks for itself. So, Pain One, please don't share with me today's inbox DMs that you received from producers or
You're in luck
artists.
because I lost my phone an hour ago, so I
Okay.
can't even if I wanted
That might
to.
be a blessing, actually, for a couple days.
I considered that, yeah.
Payne, listen, man, you're someone that highly respected, makes amazing music too, has started their career off, producing for some amazing artists. I had to drag you into this world, like some of these other guys too, and you had to make a complete career path change, and especially being in it probably just as long as Kato. Kato, same thing. Maybe 5 years ago, I saw him at a panel, and I took him to the side and I said, "Hey, bro, you're doing it all wrong. Can I show you how?" But he believed, and he understood that the internet was the way, and you the same. What made you kind of just say, "Shit, I need to change my whole strategy on this"?
Mike Trampy. Check. Am I live? Yeah, Mike Trampy is honestly, and he works for BeatStars. Mike Trampy has been, I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. I knew Mike Trampy back in the Hip Hop DX days, and he was one of the first, music industry media figures that showed me love and connected me with a lot of people. So if Mike Trampy says I should join something, I should join it. So I joined it, but I was lazy. And then I think it wasn't until I think you started calling me, and you're like, "Bro, why aren't you making more money?" And finally I said, "Well, what kind of money could I make?" And then you told me, and I said, "Oh, wow, that's a lot." And then I'm telling you, last year, right here in this building, is when I met, for the first time, I met all these people on the panel, minus you, but I'm glad to meet you today. And I just asked very direct questions. How do you word your emails when you send out, your monthly, your weekly marketing messages out? I asked you, what ad platforms do you use? What budget do you use? And obviously harassing people like Abe and Mike every single day, and then just researching social media. There are so many resources online. I think producers often miss resources online because a lot of us are searching for terms such as, when should I upload beats, or selling beats online. And there's not much content for those terms, but there are millions of resources for small business owners. So when you search something like social media for small business, or most engaging times of day to post on X social media platform, you'll find a lot of answers. And so I'm trying to translate that content over to the producer community because it's helped me so much. But I mean, really, it was just feeling as though I was a part of the community, and then learning from it and being more connected to the fine people on this stage that motivated me, just because I saw living, breathing examples of how it's supposed to be done. And essentially I was mentored in a kind of indirect sort of way.
So you've also, over the last couple of years, I've kind of seen you transform into this like pillar of information, and I don't know if something has come over you to be like, damn, I need to share my experiences. I need to share the right information, fighting daily against the wrong information, especially with social media, with so many dumbass voices that can be, exploited on social media, and so much misinformation that's out there that people start believing. I feel like you've developed like a responsibility to be like this person that says, no, shut the fuck up, stop spreading this misinformation, and let me clarify, and what came over you to like become this person in our community?
I actually don't really use profanity on social media, but
just let me get your handle for a couple of days.
I think, yeah, right. Yeah, that would be the most cussingest Twitter rant ever. honestly, I didn't have anybody to teach me. I'm from a place where there's really no music industry presence, so I didn't have people to mentor me on the business side of music at all. And as a result, I had a series of negative experiences. And back even before the BeatStars era of my life, I was just sharing those positive and negative experiences because I felt like I was in a privileged position to actually have a #1 record. And I figured I should share that information. But as I said earlier, my background is as an educator. So I was fortunate enough to have a teaching background working with young students and helping. It was amazing feeling when I was in grad school, actually right around the time the Jeezy placement came in, I was working teaching kids how to get into college and helping with ACT preparation and serving as a pipeline program to the university in my city for students who didn't have the economic means that the average student on that campus did. So that was just kind of something that I transferred over to my business as a music producer. But on the other side of that, it's just kind of selfish because if everybody in this room as a producer, rapper, whoever, if we're all doing well and we're all making money, then that's more money that circulates within our economy. So if there's a rapper who didn't understand publishing a week ago, but he watched my video, now he's registering all his works, he's getting paid more. The producer, maybe Cash Money AP did the beat, now he's getting paid more because the song went viral, and now he has the money to go and buy a DJ Pain 1 beat. Or, maybe he probably wouldn't do it, but maybe Cash Money AP buys a DJ Pain 1 sample kit. I don't know. And everyone's just better for it, and we're a stronger community. And I think we just have to recognize that we're all part of the same economy, and therefore we all kind of have a responsibility to spread the right kind of information.
Cool. Thanks, man. So I want to go way left here to someone that didn't see me coming into her life, but I was thankful that she believed in my crazy ass and was willing to work with me. If you guys are not familiar with Brianna, she is an amazing songwriter that's written for some of the biggest artists in the world, but she's on Beats. She's one of the top performers on BeatStars, and she's never uploaded a beat. So it kind of gives you a perspective in how she's approached her business and how she's using her talents and her content and how she's intertwining into the producer community's world and like leveraging her talent online. So Brianna, you're someone that I don't know if I caught you at the right time or something, because you were in LA, you had moved from Vegas, right? Pursuing your career as a songwriter, working with all the major labels and major publishers, and but you were on this independent kind of like mindset. You were kind of already started that journey. You were already trying to sponge up all the information to be an independent artist, entrepreneur. What drove you towards taking your talents and applying it to the online community as well too? Because what you do is very rarely done as well. So,
hello, can you hear me? I had moved to LA and I just wanted to be an artist, and I went to Musicians Institute to satisfy my mom because she wanted me to go to college. I did not give a shit about school. So I went there. I ended up meeting a ton of songwriters, and then I was mentored by a songwriter named Andre Merritt. He had written like Disturbia and like Forever for Chris Brown. And so I started going everywhere with him, watching him write, and then I was learning from him. And so fast forward, I ended up getting a deal, and I started doing what he was doing, and I realized I was a big, huge outcast in that world. I didn't really have a passion for writing for other artists. I didn't have a passion for chasing executives and trying to get my records placed. I didn't have a desire to be like validated by labels and A&Rs and sharing my money, because I got a deal, and then when you get a record placement, you don't get paid as a songwriter for months or even years, and then when you do get paid, you have to split a ton of the money with your publisher, your manager, your attorney, and everybody involved, and then you might be fighting over the splits with other writers. So after I got out of my deal, I started singing songs on, just anybody who needed records, I would just charge them to write. And then we got in touch, and I was kind of already on this entrepreneurial, how can I make money just doing what I want to do exactly how I could do it, and then you came with the answer. And it made 0 sense to me. He was talking about licensing and talking about how all these producers were making a ton of money per month, and I thought you were full of shit. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just try it because I've got time for it today. So I tried. I was just giving him some hooks, and then I would get deposits every now and again for like $25, and I was like, okay, I guess I made $300 this month. And then I don't know, by the end of the year, I had connected with so many different producers, and my income had grown so much, and I was enjoying not having to exchange my time for money anymore, and just having passive income and being able to invest in my equipment, invest in a place to record that I feel comfortable. And then it ended up putting me back in the music industry anyways, because people started searching, trying to get up in my business.
So just to kind of give you perspective, Brianna, majority of the time is just creating choruses and hooks on top of other producers' beats on BeatStars, and she's splitting revenue with those producers with our collab feature, our 50-50 collab feature, or whatever split collab feature. And that's how she's been able to like leverage her talent. She has become the biggest hook performer in the online like beat selling world. She literally has beats that have sold with her hooks. Just to name one, has done like $30,000 or $40,000 just off of one beat. And she's licensing them non-exclusively, and she's showing the world that you can be a singer, you can be a songwriter, and you don't have to go the traditional, route working with, major labels or anyone else, and you can get paid today, and you can collaborate with amazing producers, and you can create new content, derivative content, and figure out a way to monetize in this world. So hats off to you on that. So it took me a while to really like convince you to come work with me, dude. So Dream Life is...
I think you were sleeping on me for a little bit too, bro. I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe.
So Dream Life is, this dude from the UK.
Yeah.
Lives in Panama now.
Yeah.
Panama, a whole different country in
Central
America, where, he's making a living from his bedroom, his bedroom studio, and has been doing it for a while now. You have cornered this specific market of music that, what's crazy? And I'm gonna ask you why you did this, but boom bap beats have been around forever. Hip hop, traditional hip hop beats have been around forever. And this guy said, fuck that. I'm going to make the most clear, polished sounding boom bap beats that you can hear like on the internet. And you've been able to kind of corner this market. How has this been able to kind of, how has this affected your business and your strategy on a day-to-day basis on how you create content?
Oh, it's a good question, because when I first started uploading beats online, I was literally like, I need to make trap. I need to make like, I think the first beat I uploaded to YouTube was like a Wiz Khalifa type beat. And it was just like some old sort of nice smooth chords with like trap drums. And it was okay. So, the first like few years, I wouldn't upload the boom bap stuff that I did. I was just like, I don't really think people are going to vibe with it. It's kind of old or whatever. And then here and there, I'd upload like a few boom bap beats. And then those beats were the ones that would sell the best. And I was like, oh man, I'm missing something here. So I literally just sort of started just uploading boom bap for a good sort of year or so. Getting Brianna to sing the hooks on those boom bap tracks. And yeah, they just started selling really well. And I think it's important I think the message here is like, when you're creating your business, you need to make the music that is naturally you, because you're just going to stay in the business longer. It's going to sound more natural overall. And if you get the right marketing, you're going to connect with the type of clients that are going to want to buy your product. So I market towards people that like you know, like I don't know, J. Cole type beats, Joey Badass type beats, Nas type beats, and that's why type beats are, although, you know, that's a whole nother conversation, that I think they work so well because you can find clients that want your sound. So yeah, I just started doing the boom bap, which is what I naturally do, and it worked.
Another thing that I've noticed that you've done, you'll take flights to like New York or LA and get in the studio and book studio sessions out with session musicians, guitarists, bassists, saxophone. You know, you'll get in and find some of these amazing musicians and have them create a slew of just original music. How do you feel like investing in that path right there? How do you think has that affected your product on a day-to-day basis?
Well, that whole process has changed my life, to be honest with you. About a year ago, I was like, I'm not going to say I was bored with just uploading beats, but I felt like I needed to do more musically. Obviously, it's boom bap, so I sample. So I was like, I want to start creating my own samples. So I play the keys as well. So I just sort of sat down and literally wrote like maybe like 30, 40 sort of songs that, you know, using like Contact, where you'd like have a fake, you know, Contact saxophone. And then I was like, I'm going to literally go to the studio, get the session musicians, and flush all of the VST stuff out with real musicians. So I went up to New York. I found this crazy, amazing jazz band in Harlem. And we just started recording stuff. And that whole process, and you know, it's not cheap to use good session musicians, by the way. It's an expensive process. But that whole process is like the amount that I've grown as a producer in sort of working with live musicians is easily paid for what I've had to invest in that whole process. Like, I'm so happy I've done it. So now I'm selling sample packs. I'm doing sample packs for like bigger producers in the game, exclusive stuff, and it's mostly all analog, all live instrumentation. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's my main thing right now, is kind of just writing stuff, getting with musicians, and making music.
Awesome, man. Thank you. DG. Yo, man, this guy's beats, I can just press play on his profile and just hear some of the most amazing drums and melodies, and literally I don't even have to hear lyrics. I don't have to hear all these
Thanks,
guys. Bro. But DG has this signature sound that you guys have probably all heard, and probably has inspired so many other, you know, online producers. How have you been able to, just like Dream Life, been able to leverage the technology that's in front of you, the plugins, the sounds? How have you been able to just like hone in on this style of product that you're creating right now, and been able to stay so consistent, but each product still having its own life?
Well, actually, I did a Skype call on this guy's. He has a beat camp, and I did a call with him, and I basically told him the same thing, man. Free promo, by the way. You're welcome. But yeah, you just basically have to be obsessed with it, and you have to love it. So, like I said earlier, I've been playing guitar for years, so I've always kind of been in music. And to be honest with you, it's a really short, simple answer. Like, you just have to love it, and you just have to be obsessed with like progressing and like getting better. Yeah.
You're also someone that sometimes I can tell, like, obsessive personality towards your craft, right? But you'll stay in the studio for days or many hours upon end. Many of you guys I hear all the time. Like, how are you able to stay creative for like such long periods of time, just making beats? And I'm sure that doesn't work for everyone, but how did you get the endurance and the stamina to be able to, like, you know what, I'm going to go in for a whole day today, 2 days straight, you know, boom, I'm going to knock out 10, 20 beats, whatever it is. How do you develop that stamina?
It's kind of a tough question, but I would say, first of all, you have to love it. Again, be obsessed with getting better, and then you also have to like realize that you don't have to make amazing music every day. Like, if you put that pressure on yourself to make like the dopest thing you've ever made, which I used to do, and I would literally spend like 3 days on one beat, which was just a complete like waste of time because no one cares. Like most rappers aren't gonna notice like the smallest little details that I would like obsess over. So I'm trying to get better at, like, a lot of these guys put out like so much content, it blows my mind. So I'm just, to be honest, it's really just giving yourself breaks as well. And really, yeah, just being obsessed with it, man. Just trying every day to sit down and make music, because, you know, that's my job, so.
You decided to leave Toronto, which has a vibrant music scene right now too, and move to Atlanta and kind of work here. How has that changed your whole process of like working with artists from the city, but also maintaining your music business online?
Say the question again?
So like how you left Toronto, came to Atlanta, and you decided to like work with so many artists from the city, right? You're collaborating with a lot of artists here in town. How do you juggle like working individually with artists and also still maintaining your online business?
I mean, to be honest, it's really just like sitting down and making a schedule. I'm trying to like, I'm pretty bad at it. I'm probably like one of the most unorganized people you've ever met in your life, to be honest. But yeah, my PC desktop looks like just chaos. It's a mess. I don't know if any of you guys can relate, but it's pretty bad. So it's just trying to create a schedule and sticking to it. If you tell someone you're gonna work with them on a certain day, you just gotta keep your word, and then you gotta grind on those days before and get those beats out. So.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll get people starting to line up for some Q&A if you guys want to start doing that, and then we'll get to you guys. But you know, one common theme here, guys, that I really want everyone to just really take an effect, because I just see so many people on the internet, crying and complaining about not having instant success and not seeing instant rewards, and we're just living in this like entitled world that we live in right now, where work ethic is not being promoted to people, and order and organization is not being promoted to people, and education is not being promoted to people, that we get lost with this like instant virality of like music that goes viral, and we get, whether it's a beat, whether it's a track, whether it's a song, and we feel like we have to compare ourselves to those people's journeys. Like, one thing I just want you guys to know, the biggest entrepreneurs on this stage and other ones on BeatStars, it didn't happen overnight. And these guys put in a lot of work. I've been watching them for years. They take their craft very serious, and one common theme that you can always hear from them is that they're constantly working at it every day, and they don't let it stop. And some of these guys, there's over $1 million right here on this stage, but they don't have, a lot of these guys don't even have to probably make beats anymore, but they do it to make sure that the passion and their for their craft continues to stay vibrant in their lives. So, if you do find success, it doesn't mean you stop working, I guess the microphone is over here, guys, if you guys want to do the Q&As back here. And I'll leave it open for you guys. Is there something that you guys like that's on your heart right now? I'll leave it open to you guys that's on your heart right now that you really want to share with people, that you want people all over the world to hear from you.
I think just to touch on what Dylan said again, just like you literally have to get lost in the craft. Literally, like the most important thing when you wake up in the morning is how good can I make my beats sound? Like, it's not how many beats can I sell, it's how good can my beats sound. And I think for me, that was like the main thing, and it still is, honestly. Like, that's the main thing in my life, is like trying to make my beats better every day. So I think that needs to be the focus.
Yeah, and to add to that, I would just say constantly, like, for me, it's digging on SoundCloud and just finding like artists and producers that are ridiculously talented that I've never heard of, and just like finding that inspiration, I feel like that's really important, just finding people who are better than you, because I think my beats are crazy, but at the same time, there's people who are so much more talented than me that no one knows. So just digging and finding inspiration from other people is a huge thing.
And I just want to add too, real quick, I think everyone is on this stage for a reason, because, you know, the online beat selling marketplace is oversaturated right now. There are a lot of producers trying to do what we're doing. So I think the important part is to develop your own brand, your own sound. You know, if you try to compete with Cash Money AP with what he's doing, you're never going to win, you know? That's like opening up a burger chain and trying to compete with like McDonald's. You're never going to win that game. So instead, you should open up a boutique burger shop like for your city, and you know, like it just has to be a little bit different. So I think really honing into your own sound and your own brand is super, super important. You have to create your own lane.
All right. I guess we'll take first question right here. Just say your name and your question, and to who.
My name is Arson. My question is mainly for everybody. It was, how do you budget your time and money, let's say, mixing yourself or sending it to an engineer, or as say, like practicing or having somebody come, like he said, hire a session musician. So how do you budget your money and time so you can be efficient enough to finish off?
Cash, you want to answer that one?
I don't really use like those kind of things. I just have like make my own beats and also like collabs with other producers, so we can benefit like each other. Like I always have to make like a lot of beats for a lot of rappers, you know, getting a lot of like people asking a lot for beats. So it's better to like, I like to help like other producers. Like I got one of my friends that we've been working for like 3 weeks, and I got him like 5 placements with like 5 different rappers. So instead of like spending money with like people that I don't know, I would rather work with people that I like, that I want to help.
Like, so do you mix yourself, or do you pass that on?
Do you mix your beats?
Oh yeah, I mix my beats, yeah.
Okay, so everything's like to the T by the time you're done.
Yeah, which DAW do you use?
Ableton.
Ableton. So I kind of use like, I use FL, but I use the stock plugins. I don't use anything like Isotope. I don't use that. Yeah.
Thanks, man. All right, next question.
My name is Jeff. So basically, I'm familiar with a few of you guys on stage, and y'all all very talented. The music business is just that, a music business. So we're in it to make money. But I do feel like the selling beats online is definitely corny, and I feel like I want to ask, do y'all think that because when people sell beats online, it gives kids the hope that since they can do it and I can do it, since they can do it, then if I just pick up this keyboard, regardless if I'm musically inclined or not, I can still do it and I can sell beats as well. Because like I said, I do know, I like the fact that, you know, it gives people the platform to make money because that's what we need to do to take care of our family. But I feel like it's taken away from the whole aspect of really creating music and just looking at it as a business, which it is, but, you know, I love music, and I just, you know, want people to love music, not just for the money, you know what I mean?
You know what's corny to me? Is when a major label pays a producer nothing and gives them a placement, and they're still working at UPS.
Right.
That's really corny to me. So let me tell you, and I'll answer this. Now, when you're affecting change on a mass scale of people, million producers on a platform, and these people have an opportunity to have self-determination and build their own businesses and entrepreneurship, they leveled up in life. That's not corny to me, man. That's like the ultimate goal, right?
I feel like you took it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, what's more beautiful than exploiting your craft and having the world share it and use it in this open source world? You know what I mean?
And I'm not trying to attack anybody, you know what I mean? I have an Eminem placement, and I've never sold a beat online. So what I'm saying is, I'm asking, do you think that it's saturated the game to where as though kids are coming up now and saying, I can do this, I can sell beats online without even thinking about the music, but just seeing somebody sell beats online and just saying, I'm going to make this money by just doing whatever, putting it online versus actually loving and wanting to do the music?
I don't know, man. These guys love making music.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that, man. I mean, if what you're saying is like the selling beats online is promoting more children to make music, I think that's a great thing. But I
Music as a business, though.
right, so
Business aspect.
right, so the other thing about that is like, if you think you can make music, right, and you're not musically inclined, then you may sell like 1 or 2 beats, like, but you're not gonna make a career out of selling beats online, like, unless you are not musically inclined and you learn how to do it. I mean, you may try to do it for a year and sell 3 or 4 beats, and then that's it. You're just gonna, you know, you're gonna quit. So at the end of the day, like, the people that are musically inclined are gonna come through and make a good living off what they're doing. So if that promotes more people to make music, the world always needs more music, in my opinion. And also, like, the reason that the online game looks so saturated is because you can see it. Dude, the placement game is just as saturated. You can't see it. Like, yeah, you know, these A&Rs are getting like thousands of beats sent to them a day, but so it's the same thing, really.
And I'm seeing every single day, I see A&Rs from like major labels going on BeatStars and flying out producers from our platform to go into sessions, to go into like.
Instead of people coming to them, they search themselves, looking at the numbers.
100%. So I think you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they won't tell you because they want to take credit for it. The A&R wants to get paid and get percentage in their credit, right? So they're not going to tell you I found the kids online. Cash Money was found online. All these guys are found online. Like, I mean, everyone, all the new producers that are coming out from the internet or who are getting big publishing deals and like getting all these big placements, they're all found online. I mean, this is where we live now. We're on our phones 24/7. Those A&Rs, those major label executives, everybody that's in music is going on. We are the new A&R. So it's like, it's just a matter of just like any other social network. You're trying to put up content, trying to build a following, trying to get people to hear your music. And if you can make a living doing it and at the same time also have the industry world kind of gravitate towards you, you might have more leverage at the table than you trying to beg them for a placement too. Okay. Yeah. I appreciate your question though, man. Yeah. Cool.
First off, thank you for all sharing your wisdom and knowledge and stuff today. And to you, Abe, BeatStars has been really great since we started over the last years. Thank you so much for everything.
Appreciate you, man.
If, let's just say, hypothetically, if you guys were to be stripped of everything that you've done and you were out there in the audience today, if you could do 1 or 2 things to kind of get back to where you are, what would that be? Would that be like email and your marketing and your automations, Facebook ads, just uploading beats to YouTube every day? Like, what are those 1 or 2 things that you really think we should focus on?
Holy crap. This thing is ridiculous. First thing I would focus on is before the marketing, just making sure you have your own sound. So like what Kato was saying earlier is really like creating your own sound and then sticking to it. And you can stray away from it, but for the most part, just create your own sound, something unique. And it doesn't necessarily have to be crazy different, but just something that people will recognize. And then I would say probably start on it's all really saturated, but the first thing I would do is start with YouTube and research how to rank. Like, do your research on tagging, do your research on you can download a program, like, for example, it's called vidIQ. There's a million different programs, but this is just the one I use. You can download it. It's like, I think it's $10 a month, and you can basically install it on Chrome. It's a Chrome app. And then, for example, if I want to find out like what tags someone else is using, for example, like Cash Money AP, I go to his channel and it's going to show like the specific tags, what he's ranking in, all that. So basically just create your own sound and do the research. I would start probably on YouTube. And then the most important thing is after that, for me, I know some of these guys don't even do email marketing and they're way more successful than me, so you don't have to, but I feel like email marketing, once you're selling your beats, so for example, every single month I take all of my emails, all of my customers, I import them into an email list, and that way I'll always have contact with them. So every single sale, instead of it just being a one-off sale, I can hit them up later and be like, yo, here's a 30% discount code if you come back to the site. Basically, I was just telling some of these guys yesterday, 60% of my business every single month is return customers. And I feel like that's from my email list because I hit people up, give them discounts, tell them information on how they can like get their songs out better, how they can rank on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So I would say create your own sound, start on something like YouTube. You can do Instagram too. Any social media, it just depends on how you attack it, but do your research and then collect the emails and keep in touch with your customers. Don't just look for one-off sales. So.
And I just want to add, collaborate with other producers. I think that's one thing that I would have done a lot more of early in my career is just, so many placements these days. If you look at the credits on a lot of big records, it's like multiple producers. So collaborate. I'll give you a perfect example. So sometimes I charge for collabs, because I think business is one of the best ways to get in front of someone who you don't know. So I recently did a collab with a producer who wanted to work with me, and the very next day after finishing that track, I sent it to my homie Dizzy Wright, and Dizzy laced some shit that night, and he sent it back. So right away, this kid that I don't know and probably has 0 placements now has a placement with Dizzy Wright, and we're gonna make money off of that track. And, we could still make money off of the licensing and the beat store too. So it's a great way to kind of get your name out there and possibly get some placements and make money with the licensing thing.
Cool. Next question.
Quick follow-up, at my best friend Jacob, if any of you want to collab.
Word.
My name is Shane Lockett. How y'all doing? As a producer, I usually struggle. Like when I get like producer's block, because I'm a producer, I usually don't know how to like get around that and continue with my schedule. Because I'll set out a schedule, but I'll 9 times out of 10 get delayed because I'll get stuck on something. So my advice to you, my question to you guys is, how do you deal with writers or producers block and still continue on with your schedule?
Hello. I get that all the time. And honestly, I will just go with that feeling and not write or produce at all. I will just do something totally different but creative at the same time. So I like to build things and do things to my apartment that I probably am not allowed to do. But for some reason, if I spend a week outside of being creative musically, when I come back the next week, I feel like I have all these other things to say. And also sometimes being around other human beings, because I don't know how you live, but I'm alone a lot of the time. And so sometimes if I spend a week at one of my friends' house and we're just talking and I'm around different humans and hearing different people's stories, I have a whole brain full of inspiration when I come back. So I don't know if that helps, but.
I just dig for inspiration online. Find other dope producers or songs you like. When I find something that's crazy and different, and it inspires me to make something. So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, one more thing, my bad, is just sit down on the keys, bro. Just learn the keys, man.
Facts.
Because that for me, that was the main thing. Whenever I got beat blockers, just because I didn't know enough musically to get the ideas out of my head into the sequencer via the keys. So just go on YouTube and just learn some chords, man.
Artists as well from that standpoint, as well as just straight up selling beats, licensing beats,
Payne, you want to answer this because you do a lot of kits and packages and.
Check. I mean, it sounds as though you got it covered already. You just listed a whole bunch of ideas that I would say just go ahead and implement them. I mean, if you're a pianist, you said, how do I market myself as a pianist and a producer? You market yourself as a pianist and producer. I think it's just a matter of letting that identity be the basis of your brand.
Okay, so let me ask slightly more specific. What's a way that I could go about that through BeatStars, through the network, actually promoting and marketing my own page through the site itself, not just in the real world? Not that that's not real, but you know what I mean, just the actual speaking with people directly, but through that online platform.
I don't like the real world either. So I would say creating, okay, I'll put it this way. I recently consulted with a producer who was in a similar position as you. He was an international beatboxing champion, and he just wanted to sell beats. I said, you know, you have this separate channel for beatboxing and you have this other channel for selling beats. Why aren't you combining the two? Because the average producer doesn't beatbox. You know, and the average producer isn't necessarily, I assume you're classically trained? Yeah, so I don't think the average producer, because classically trained musicians don't always make the best producers, and the best producers don't always make the best classically trained musicians. So if you're marrying the two, that's an interesting, unique angle through which you can create content and market yourself better than someone else who doesn't have that edge. So you'll see, like with the beatboxing guy, I said, you know, just start by making videos that show you incorporating your unique talent into your production and start attracting people that way. Obviously, BeatStars has a lot of great internal marketing mechanisms, and Abe can talk about that. I mean, I think
I was just going to tell him, dude, find like a really dope unknown producer on BeatStars. Like, go on BeatStars, go through certain sound types that you really dig. Find another producer to partner with. I would find a person that's not as well known, maybe not doing as well just yet, that's maybe struggling with the keys, but has amazing drums and mixes very well, right? You can go in and like collaborate with that person, man, and start a business together and just go 50-50, or just, you know, kind of build a brand that way. Then people start hearing your beats with your keys, and then so many other people are going to start hitting you up for those sounds and wanting to collaborate with you.
Yo, I would just push it, the fact that you don't have to sample. So create a brand around the fact that you don't use samples. So if you, like, the artist, you know, puts it on a record, they don't have to worry about clearing a sample. Just build a brand around that. That's a selling point in itself.
Cool. I think I don't know. We have time for one more or one more. Okay, go ahead.
I started online because, you know, at first I wasn't like really like chasing placements and all that. And, you know, the industry is like a dirty place. It's a dirty place, dirty word. And online, it's like, what is good with the online thing is like, you can do your own thing. Nobody's gonna tell you what to do. Like, you don't need to like, oh yeah, I need to send beats. Oh no, they're not gonna send me my advance right now. I won't be able to pay my rent. Right, online, you can do all the stuff. Like, you can make money every day. Whatever you want, drop whatever you want. You can drop a sound key on BeatStars. You can drop a beat. You can have Brianna like write a hook for you, and then you say, I do 50-50. And that's why I went online first, because of the freedom that you have. And then, yeah, the industry is the dirty word, yeah.
Guys, we're going to stick around here for another 30 minutes if you guys want to hang out. Appreciate your time. Please give these amazing entrepreneurs a round of applause. Thank you for your time, guys. Much love, y'all. Be free.